gotta thank God, for helping me get through these trials and tribulations, of course.
Hey everyone, I'm here with Eric, Showtime, Shelton. Eric, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, brother. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. It's pretty warm here. Summer's definitely in effect.
Yes, sir.
I guess we'll start off. My first question is how is training? Like, how's being a fighter during like this COVID situation? Like,
It's been difficult, man. To be honest with you, because when I was in Florida, they had American Top Team shut down to only a few fighters. So it was a little hard training. But I was working with my man Phil Daru out there, so I was doing strength conditioning and stuff like that. But I just recently moved back to Iowa, so I've been getting a lot of work out here because they're opened up fully. So
yeah,
I've been getting work. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking through your Insta, and I watched your last fight and your last UFC fight, and I know you were with ATT. So you're not with them currently?
I still am. I just moved back to Iowa, so I'll more than likely do camps out there. So.
Okay. So you're with ATT. So when you get you have your next fight, you're gonna go back to ATT?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Do you have like a house in Florida or anything like?
Just a lot of people I met out there, man. They'll be more than willing to let me stay at their house. So, I got a lot of friends out there. So, yeah.
That's okay. That's cool. I saw you signed with ARES Fighting.
Yeah.
That's that's like a European thing, right? That's like
Yeah. It's an Afro-European show. So it's they have shows in Africa and then in Paris as well. So, yeah.
So have you been? Have you been to Paris or Africa before?
No, so it's gonna be new. It's gonna be a new thing. I'm excited for it.
And that's what do you have a fight coming soon or not yet?
Not yet. They told me that I'd be looking more towards January. So with all the stuff going on in Paris and stuff, with the COVID and everything, I think that's probably more closer to the time they'll be opening up.
So do they have any fights going on right now? Like the ARES fight, or they're like, is UFC pretty much, I think UFC is the only MMA organization.
I think UFC and then, smaller organizations like I know Titan FC had an event not too long ago. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of smaller events doing it with no crowd, but for the most part, I think ARES is just waiting on everything to clear up.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think COVID's going to probably have a second wave.
That's what it's seeming like
early fall, because I know Beijing already has like another wave I read somewhere. So yeah. So when did you move back to Iowa?
I've been back here about 3 weeks now. Couple weeks ago.
And you were in Florida beforehand?
Yeah. So it's fresh out here. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're so you were living in Florida before, or?
Yeah, I was out there for 2 years at American Top Team.
You have You have kids, right?
Yeah.
How did you bring? Were they with you, or were they here in Iowa?
Yeah, I brought my family up to Florida, and then I just brought them back down here because I have kids that live out here as well. But 2 of my kids were living with me in Florida with my fiance, who I have them with. So we moved back to be closer with our other kids and family as well. So. Yeah, I mean, I take my family everywhere for the most part.
Yeah. And how was being away from them in the TUF house, being away from your family? Because you were on the Ultimate Fighter 24, or was it 24? I think it was. Yeah.
24. Yeah. I mean, it was tough, man. But like I tell everybody, man, if I had another chance to do that again, I would do it for sure. I was more focused than I ever have been being on there,
You do the Ultimate Fighter again?
Yeah, I would definitely do it again for sure.
I'm really hoping they bring back TUF, honestly. I really like the show, and I think it's a great opportunity for guys who are in the UFC or who were released or want to get to the UFC. Like, I think it's a really good opportunity.
And it also puts a lot of experience under your belt, man, in a short period of time. You're cutting weight fast. You're fighting back to back. It's a experience.
I talked to Tim Elliott a few weeks ago, and I was asking him how the weight cut was, and he said pretty brutal. Like by the DJ fight, he was done with the.
Yeah, but he cuts a lot of weight, man. He's a big 25er.
You cut too much weight?
No, I mean now I'm a little bit thicker than I used to be. But I was probably his size now than he was in the house. So he was cutting. I mean, there was moments that he'd be up to 150 in the house, the water weight, of course, but That's still a lot, you know. And he was cutting that back to back to back. He was my roommate. He slept under me actually. So
Yeah, you
we're
guys
pretty
fought
close.
second round, I believe, right?
Yeah, we were semi-final. I fought him in the semi-final.
Yeah.
Yeah, third round. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that was a close fight, I think, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was tooth and nail, man. I felt like it could have went either way. I wish we would have had a third, man, to solidify it.
Honestly, man, you've been on the wrong end of some close decisions. Like your last fight in UFC, Espinoza. I just watched that last night. I thought you won that fight.
Dude, I mean, I've gotten that from that fight, the Jared Brooks fight, the Pantoja fight. Only fight I felt I really was I was out wrestled in was the Alex Perez fight, and he came in heavy. It was
like Perez,
he's a beast, man. I mean, I've been in there with all the best in the division. You know.
Why I don't know. I don't understand why UFC released you. Honestly, you were number 12, but they released a lot of flyweights, didn't they?
They were getting rid of it, and it was just bad timing, man. You know, it was just bad timing. You know, but everything happens for a reason. So I try not to dwell on it, as much as I can. But I definitely do when I watch these guys climbing up the rankings that I've already went against and had good fights against. Just like, man, it sucks to watch, but I know I got my own journey.
Is your goal eventually to get back into UFC? Like, is that your ultimate goal?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said no, man.
Yeah.
That's the stage, you know what I'm saying? I'm excited to do what I'm going to do out there in ARES, though, man. I'm excited. They got a couple guys that they signed from the UFC as well. So the guys I wanted to...
There was a French guy I saw.
And then Wilson Reis as well, and he was number 3 forever in the UFC.
No, they cut Reis? Oh, wait, they did, didn't they? Yeah, I forgot
him. Yeah, man.
And that's some good talent that they... I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, man. They got rid of a lot of people in the 25, man, and it's crazy because, it is what it is, though. I think they're just trying to bring in new bloods, but it sucks, man. It sucks. It really does.
When were you, officially released? Was it just shortly after the Espinoza fight?
Yep, because that was, I believe, my last fight on my contract. Had I won that, they would have re-signed me. Damn. But again, like you said, man, those split decisions, they're tough to take, man.
I really thought you got the second and third for that fight. I just watched it, and I'm like,
I believe that too, man. But
backed away.
He see different.
He just kind of backed away. I don't know. I didn't really think. I don't know how they. And 2 judges had that 30-27. I was shocked.
I know, dude. I was like, what? When I heard him say that, I knew right off the gate I was gonna lose. I was like, man, because he like you said, man, I like those fights that I've had that are split decisions. It was almost like I knew they weren't going my way. Like it was just like as soon as they say splits, I'm like, yep, it's not me. Sure, And it sucks, but there's some things I gotta tweak in my game that to put in that judge's eyes different. Different approach.
And your last fight, I was doing some research. You fought for the WXC Warrior Wednesday, and that was for the title over there, and you lost that one by split decision.
And I smoked that kid, dude. I took him down almost 20-something times. They gave him that fight, and dude, I don't understand. That's why I got to start knocking these dudes out or finishing them because I'm not gonna get this judge's sway ever.
I haven't seen that fight. I couldn't find it. I tried to find it. I couldn't find that one, but
they probably took it down because they seen how bad of a decision it was, man. But
that's rough.
It's tough, man. But MMA is a tough sport to take on.
You only had 2 fights over there, right?
Yeah. I had 2 fights at WXC. I fought one of the guys. Can't even remember his name right now. But I ended up fighting the champ the second fight. And
Juan something.
Camilo.
Yeah.
And he was just a young in the game too, man. Just a tough kid, But he was just in there, He wasn't really doing anything. He never took me down. He didn't defend not one of my takedowns. He barely hit me. It's just Was
he champ? Because it was for the belt, right?
He was champ. Yeah, he was champ. So
yeah,
and that was their boy, man. They're trying to push him. So
yeah, you gotta wonder if some of those decisions, man, kind of suspicious. If they wanted, sometimes, even in UFC, once in a while, I'll see decisions where it's I don't know about that. I kind of feel like they want that person.
They want that guy to win. Yeah, I mean, I felt that way when I fought Jared Brooks for sure. I felt that way because I dropped him. I think I smoked him first round. but they ended up giving it to him. He was a 12-0 or a 10-0, I believe, at the time coming in.
Right. Yeah.
But then turns around his next fight.
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit. Oh, you're good now. You're good. Sorry, go on.
Next fight, he ended up fighting the Brazilian, and he lost a close decision. So he got to feel the pain, you know. And I thought he smoked the guy in that fight. What's his name? He's like number 3 in the world. He just fought for the title against Joseph Benavidez.
Oh,
Figueroa, yep.
Yeah, no, that's Figueroa beat Benavidez and then he missed weight, and now they're rematched. They have a rematch scheduled.
Yeah, man, it's
crazy.
Know,
even the Joanna and Weili Zhang fight, I kind of thought Joanna won that, but I feel like the market, they wanted Zhang to win because of the market in like China, like for more people to, because like Zhang got a title shot that I don't even know if she should have gotten. So I know what you're saying about pushing certain fighters and wanting other. Yeah.
Tough sport, man.
Oh yeah. So do you have a certain amount of deals on the ARES fighting? Like how many fight? Like what's the contracts? Like how many fights? If you're allowed to say.
Hold on, I'm having trouble hearing you right now, man. Hold on one second.
Okay, no worries.
It's on my end. All right, let me see.
Okay. Is it good now? Is it, or not yet?
I wonder why I can't hear you now.
Can you hear
me now?
Barely
hear you. No, but it's still quiet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it is. I can hear you slightly, though.
Okay, maybe I'll put my headphones in. I don't know. Maybe I'll try putting headphones in. I'm not sure if that'll do. Okay, can you hear me better now?
Nope.
Damn.
Still super quiet.
I
don't know what that would be. I have my phone turned up.
Do you have headphones?
No, I don't. Not on me. I can hear you, though. I can hear you for a little bit. I just want to make sure I hear you clear.
Okay. I mean, if I have to repeat myself, that's fine. I don't mind. So I was just asking if how many fights on your contract for your ARES, the ARES deal? Like how many do you have so like is it just a 1-fight contract at the moment, or is it multiple?
It's a 4-fight deal. So I got a 4-fight deal. It's a 4-fight deal, so yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. I know they got a big roster to do.
See, now you're kind of cutting out on my end. I can't. I know you said 4-fight deal. What else did you say?
Let me see if I can get it louder, because it's not.
That's good. Now, okay.
Now I hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So sorry. Say that again. Yeah, I know. You said 4 fights. What else were you saying? I
said it's a 4-fight deal, so I'm excited I know they build up a big roster, so they got some good fights on there that I'm excited to test myself with. And again, like the Wilson Reis I told you, and there's another one I'm kind of having a brain fart right now about what his name is, but he's another UFC vet. Yeah. So they build up a good roster, man. So I'm excited to go out there and put on a show.
And do they only their fights are only in Paris and Africa, or do they have, or is it just those 2 locations?
Yeah, I believe it's just those 2 right now. Yeah.
Wow. Where would you rather fight, like between the 2 places?
Either, man. To be honest with you, I mean, I've always wanted to go to Africa, but I think Paris would be awesome as well. But
Paris would be cool.
Either would be a good trip, So.
How do you think you would be able to make 125 pounds for the rest of your career? Is the cut tough at all, or not too bad for you?
I mean, I usually do pretty easy cutting weight, man. It's never really hard,
Yeah.
I could weight, yeah.
What's your current weight?
I'm walking like 147 right now.
Okay, yeah, that's not, especially because you haven't fought since December, right? December was your last.
Yeah. But I stay in the gym, man. So it's not like I never really get too bulky. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's pretty light. I mean, some flyweights get like over 150.
I know. Like Tim, man.
I can't imagine that, because you guys aren't super big anyways. So like you don't have like that much weight to really get rid of compared to like, guys who are like light heavyweight and middleweight and shit like that. So.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited, man. See what's gonna happen. But I do have in my mind, I was like, man, if things don't start going in the 25 division, I'll move up to 35. I have no
Yeah,
problem.
I was Tim mentioned something about that too. Like he considered it, but I think he said he didn't really want to help get rid of the flyweight division in UFC, so he wanted to
Exactly.
stay there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Tim like he cuts a lot of weight, so. But
Does, man.
yes, it's unfortunate. Hopefully, maybe once this pandemic's, I don't know if it'll ever fully end, but gets better.
Yeah.
UFC signs more flyweights, and if you can get a decent win streak going on ARES, maybe they'll, re-sign you
Yeah,
or
hit
something.
me back up. That'd be awesome, man. That's kind of what my game plan was, to go over here and do some damage over there, and then possibly get the call back. But
yeah.
I wanted to get a couple of the UFC vets under my belt that were ranked high in the, like I said, Wilson. He's probably going to be the first one I call out over there in ARES if I get a chance.
That would be awesome. I'd love. So he signed there. Hey, that's pretty. Like that's a.
Yeah.
Wilson fought for the belt, like against DJ. That's pretty big.
Yeah, he fought a couple times. I know he fought Cejudo. I mean, he's fought all the best.
Yeah, that would be badass if you could beat him. Like that would be huge.
That'd be big, man. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
like like that would be a hell of a way to, get the UFC's attention.
No doubt.
So I'm curious. You haven't fought since December. So have you do any other kind of work or just train mainly?
Just train, man. I mean, I do little side jobs here and there, but for the most part, just train. I've put a little bit in savings for my fights that I have had in the UFC, but money's starting to become a problem, especially with all this stuff going on.
Of course, yeah. I think a lot of people are struggling for sure right now. Like some people have lost their job or got laid off or something. Like it's tough.
No doubt. No doubt.
Hold on, I got have a few questions for you that I was. So what do you consider the most important martial art? Like if you were, someone was going to train MMA, what would you recommend would be the first thing that they learn?
Jiu-jitsu was my first, and I did pretty well with that. I would say jiu-jitsu, and probably in high school do wrestling. That would probably be the biggest thing because most of the fights I know they start standing, but almost all the fights go to the ground.
Yeah.
So if you got good wrestling, yeah.
Especially with TUF and like most because TUF wrestlers will always do really well because the cages are smaller. And right now with like UFC Apex and stuff, I don't know how big the cage is over at ARES.
I don't think they're using that big of a cage in the UFC right now. It looks pretty small when I watch.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like the TUF size.
Yeah.
So wrestlers are really having an advantage because there's less. They can cut off the cage easier, get it against the fence. So yeah, wrestling. And with wrestling is that like I asked Tim the same question. He also said wrestling because it's like free when you start, like, you can join a high school team or something like that, right?
Yeah,
so it's
exactly. It's a good base to have, man. It definitely is. A lot of guys I know I got to train with out here in Iowa. What made me such a great fighter, a scrambler, was because of the wrestlers I got to train with. So
yeah.
Yeah,
and you'll see sometimes like people who are jiu-jitsu based will struggle to get fights to the ground, like. They don't have
exactly. They're pulling guard and they're doing stuff like that. It doesn't always work, But you see guys like Khabib, man, just smoking through the competition. And then St. Pierre, he's another one because he never even wrestled, and he just.
I know.
That's what made him so crazy. Yeah.
GSP, man, that's my fellow Canadian there. It's
that's
cool
awesome.
That I personally think GSP's the GOAT in my opinion, but
he definitely was. He definitely was the GOAT, man. But I would like to see. It's tough though because they gave him a fight. His last fight, I felt like they gave him a fight against. He fought
Bisping. He fought Michael Bisping.
Not Bisping. That fight. I'm talking about his last title defense when he retired.
Johnny Hendricks.
That was one of those fights, dude. And I'm like, wow, he got smoked.
Yeah.
And they gave it to him. They were like, here's your gift for being such a badass, and and he knew it, and he took it and he ran with it, man. I mean, hey, I can't be mad at him. I think he was one of the ones that retired as the champ,
Yeah, he did, and he retired as welterweight champ, then he retired as middleweight champ because he did beat Bisping. I do think there was I don't think he'd beat someone like Adesanya though. I don't know. I don't think he would.
Yeah, Adesanya's that's a tough fight. You know, it's a new generation of fighters coming up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Exactly.
had to deal with wrestlers their whole career. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
one of those
exactly.
things.
And I don't think he'd beat Kamaru Usman if he was
Tomorrow,
to ever go back.
he's vicious. He's vicious, man. You know that fight with Cody.
Colby Covington. Yeah,
Kobe,
that was.
that solidified it for me, man. The senior had a chin, showed that he got the grit. He didn't even have to wrestle that fight. You know?
No, neither guy wrestled at all, which was not actually that surprising to me. When you get two wrestlers in there, I think you tend to see them strike because they don't think
They don't want to
the other
get
guy down.
tired wrestling each other today.
Exactly. Yeah, that was one of my favorite fights.
Mine too, bro. That was a sick fight.
Yeah, it was. And then do you think had you maybe because you fought Espinoza, do you think had you maybe tried to wrestle him, do you think you could have taken him down? Or
I think I could have took him down and submitted him just like he's been getting beat his last few fights, man. And he's not great on the ground.
He did win his last fight against Mark De La Rosa, though, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
De La Rosa's one of those other guys. He's not really a strong guy. He's just gritty and tough, you know.
Yeah.
I think Espinoza out muscled him, and it's one of those things. But on the ground, I think I would have smoked him, man. I would have smoked us. I've been down there on the ground with all the best in the division, like Pantoja, Jared Brooks, all these hard wrestlers, and I was taking them down.
I think you were on
Tim Elliott.
Yeah.
So
on the ground.
Yeah, I wish I would have. I mean, that's what most of my wins are by submission, know.
RNCs? Do you have a lot
of
rear naked
choke, a couple arm bars, couple triangles. Yeah, so. Yeah, I got a variety.
I'm trying to think. Didn't you get one sub on TUF?
Yeah, I got a rear naked choked Yoni Sherbatov. He was the number 2 seed on there.
Yeah, and were you the number 15?
Yep.
They had you that low, hey? Yeah, because they would go like 1 to 16, then 2 and 15. Yeah.
I've always got the shit into the stick, my man.
What was that?
I said I always get the shit into the stick.
I mean, look at Moreno though. They had him 16, and he's like might be getting a title shot soon. So
Moreno's a stud, man. We all knew though, him coming back in, he was gonna get another shot. His just personality, dude. He's an awesome person, man. And he's fought Pantoja twice, and it's went the same way every time. But his last fight, he had against Kai, I believe it was Kai. He showed out. He looked really good.
I think he fought Jussier Formiga too, and he beat him.
Oh, that's the last fight was. Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was the last one, but yeah, and he beat Formiga, who did Formiga ever fight for the belt? I guess he didn't, did he?
Yeah, he fought for the belt, I believe. I want to say he's been at the top of the division as long as I can remember.
He has, he has been at the top for a long time. And he beat Figueroa, the guy who just knocked out Benavidez.
Yeah, exactly. He beat Figueroa, but he just lost to Alex Perez to the calf kicks.
Yeah, I saw that, man. That was like the second last card. Like, it was recent.
Yeah.
It was like in May. Yeah, that was I think I picked Formiga to win that too. I was like, damn.
I was kind of torn about that fight because I trained with Formiga over there at American Top Team for the last 2 years.
He is over there. Yeah,
he's the great jiu-jitsu guy. Get on your back and he'll ride you like a backpack. But when I went with Alex Perez, his wrestling was solid, man, and I felt that. So I was kind of on the fence with that one. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to end like that, though, for sure. I didn't think it was going to end by any means.
Have you ever even been finished in MMA before? Only I was going to say.
I had one when I was amateur. I got knee barred, but that was the only time I've ever been finished.
Wow. So as a pro fighter, you've never once been finished?
No.
Wow. That's and your record, you're 13-7 if I'm not mistaken, right? And it's crazy though to think had a couple of those arguable decisions went the other way, you'd be 15-5 or 16-4 or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be up there, man. Like I said, it's crazy, but it's part of my journey, man. I try not to dwell on it, man, but it's hard to, man, when it's like that,
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it's tough not to let those negative things like that Espinoza fight, that was bullshit. That decision was really pretty bad. And you'd probably still be. And
I put up I feel like in it, you get to see him against the high level guys in the division and he gets beat pretty easy, If I'm in there, I'm putting up a fight with those guys. I feel like I could have grew into the UFC and eventually got to the title, man. But it's one of those things, man. You know.
Yeah, but like I feel like you'll be back. You get a good run over at ARES, and I think especially with if they're going to keep the flyweight division going, eventually they're going to need to bring people, new people in or people from the past, and
That's no doubt, man. I'm still young in the game, man. I'm only 29, so I got
29.
time.
And so when did you actually first get into MMA? Like when
Shoot, when I was 18.
18. And how did you get into it? Like did you see like a gym advertisement or something? Like what made you want to pursue it?
Just a friend, man. I had a friend that I went to school with, that I went to the gym with, and I was like, I was gonna go in there and box him up, and he head kicked me and beat me up pretty good. So I was like, man, I gotta get good at this. And I just never left the gym, man. I fell in love with it.
Nice. And how old were you when you did your first like amateur fight?
It's pretty quick. I want to say I trained for like a few months, and then I had a amateur fight, and it lasted like 30 seconds. I armbarred the guy, and then I did a Muay Thai tournament. Like I just went on a run, man. I was just
Muay Thai, nice.
Yeah.
You were like 19 then? 18, 19 when you had your first amateur fight.
Yeah.
And
I was 15-2 as an amateur, so I had a lot of amateur fights.
15-2, that's badass. And then when was your first professional MMA fight?
My first professional MMA fight, it's hard to tell. It was years back, man. It's a long time ago. I know I ended up fighting this kid named Mark Tong Van. He was my first fight. He was a kid out here that was doing damage, man. He was a stud, and he beat the guy that I had lost to as an amateur. So I wanted to get that back, but I ended up beating him in like a minute too. So the armbar, yeah.
What was I gonna say? It was on the tip of my tongue. Give me a sec. I'll think of it. Have you ever, like, you've never been knocked out before, right? Like in training, like I know sometimes sparring will go, like you've never actually been knocked out?
No, man. I've never been dropped. I've never even been rocked.
Wow.
To be honest with you.
That's amazing. Like that's like a really good, because you'll see guys who are like, people will get CTE, like fighters, take damage. So you really haven't taken any. Like you could keep fighting for, probably you have a lot of durability.
That's what I mean. That's why I tell people, I fought for the longevity, man. I barely take damage in the gym. I barely take damage at any time. So even in the UFC, man, if people look at my fights, there's barely ever times that I've gotten hit with a flush shot. You know what I'm saying?
No, your defense is pretty solid.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. I know my time's coming. I put on, God saved my chin. He saved my body, so I'll be prepared when it's my time,
So how many more years do you plan on fighting? Do you have like kind of a...
I mean, it always used to be like 35. I wanted to be done.
Yep.
That was always the age I wanted to stop at. So I feel like the next, 6 years or so, I can make some things happen. That's a long time.
That's a long time. That would be like 2026, 27, something like that.
Yeah. You look back at some of the fighters in the years that they've came up in a year. Cody Garbrandt, 1 year, he's freaking champion. So.
Fucking A. Yeah, he was barely with UFC. Totally. And you'll see guys even like who end up winning titles, like the UFC belts at the end of their career, like Michael Bisping and
Dustin
stuff.
Poirier, Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on, man. The guys that fought for all these years and finally started to get the recognition they deserve.
Exactly. Jorge Masvidal, that's another one.
Jorge,
right there.
Exactly. He's another one, man. Jorge. It's just, it's part of the game, man. It's, some fighters fight for longevity. Some of these fighters, they're in and out, so, yeah, I'm here for the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, you see some fighters like Justin Gaethje in the past who would just put like caution to the wind, and it's entertaining, but it's like, oh my god, like that.
He'd be able to spell his name by the time he's 40. Jeez, gosh, man. The way he fights is so exciting, man, and he gets the money he deserves, because I think he's had 8 bonuses in 6 fights. That's crazy.
Like that, because he's got like fucking fight of the night. Because I think with Michael Johnson, he got like performance of the night and a fight of the night. I saw him live actually, which was pretty cool. I saw him fight Donald Cerrone in Vancouver. That was pretty. That was awesome. Yeah, I'm happy for him. He's fighting for the belt, but little upset with Tony. Ferguson should have been getting that title shot, but
And it does suck, man. But Tony's not going to say no to a fight.
I know. He's
But to
too
be
much
honest
pride.
with you, man, after seeing that, I'm kind of excited to see Khabib, and I'm excited to see that fight. That's kind of interesting. I think Khabib's going to have his hands full.
Who's your pick? Do you have like a pick for it yet, or?
I'm going to say Gaethje, man, because
Okay.
I've never seen Gaethje even getting taken down,
Yeah, that's a lot of people say that, but I will counter that with like, has Gaethje fought the kind of wrestler that Habib is, though, right? Like
That's true. That's true.
It's hard to say, because Habib he takes everyone down with relative ease usually, so that's gonna be an interesting fight.
It is interesting. I'm excited about it, man. I think Gaethje just puts on too much of like he throws
Pressure.
too much, and the kicks and the punches, and he's just always in your face. And if he gets taken down, it's not like he's gonna get tired. He'll get up and he'll just keep coming.
Oh, it's not the best matchup for Habib. There's no doubt about that.
It's a good matchup.
So you said you have four fight deal on your ARES contract. So what's the span you think that'll be like? How many times? Because you said
I think it was like 18 weeks or something. I don't know. I mean 18 months. I don't remember what it said. I gotta look over the contract. But it was something like 18 something. I don't remember. 18 weeks doesn't seem right. Maybe.
How much time do you like to take off between fights? Like some fighters like to kind of take bigger breaks, and some like kind of don't mind getting back in there within a couple months if they don't take any damage. Like what's your?
I don't mind getting a couple months if I don't take damage and stuff, man. I don't mind getting right back in. That way I just keep that ball rolling,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did TUF, and that TUF was like what, a week or something like that between fights, something.
Yeah,
like
dude. It was like every week.
Yeah. And so do you plan on finishing your career at flyweight, or do you think you plan on one day eventually going up to 35?
As of now, flyweight. As of now, I'm gonna play this ARES card out and see how that all plays out, and then get back to the UFC, possibly. And if the flyweight division is striving, then there's no reason to go up, So it's just playing it by ear right now.
Yeah, I see that. Did you start your career flyweight? Like, were you when you did amateur? Was there like, were you?
I was 35 amateur. I was 35.
Okay. So you probably cut like no weight, right? Like you must have.
Yeah, I was walking in at 35. So.
Yeah, because when you're younger, I imagine you're probably thinner, because.
Yeah, I was a small guy.
You're 5'7"?
5'6".
5'6". Okay. Always like on the shorter side, or did you like kind of just some people like kind of have growth spurts, or were you like always kind of on the shorter side?
I was always on the small side, man. Yeah, I was always on the small side. I was never really bigger than anybody.
Yeah, that's funny. I was always really short until I was like 16, and because I would think I was like 5'6" when I was like 16, and then by 17 or something I was like 5'9". So. Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy with it because otherwise I'd be in the bigger weight divisions, man. I'm cool with being in flyweight right now, 20-35.
Well, the good thing is about flyweight for you guys is I don't think a lot of guys ever get knocked out cold very often. I mean, it happens.
Not often. Happens. I mean, we had guys like Lineker that could do it, Dotson. There wasn't too many flyweights that put people down. Cejudo, and he did a couple. Yeah, I mean, flyweights don't normally pack that much punch, but they hit hard for sure.
And even with flyweight, most of the time I feel it's more like TKOs. Like it's not, except Benavidez. I think Benavidez has knocked out cold twice. So
Benavidez has been knocked out. Demetrius knocked him out.
And Figueroa. I'm pretty sure those were both
knockouts. Oh yeah, Figueroa is another one of the guys that put people to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I can't imagine being knocked out. Like that's so great. You haven't experienced that. Like it's got to be a scary feeling. I don't know.
It would be. I'm sure. Sure it is.
That's awesome that you've never taken like any damage. And like that's just it's sad for some fighters. You hear them kind of slur their words, and
I know it's real sad, man.
So after you're done with fighting, do you have like a career you want to do afterwards? Like would you maybe be like a coach or something like that? Do you want to keep being involved with MMA, or is there any?
Definitely, man. I want to open up a gym back
Nice.
here in Iowa, man. That's another big part why we moved back, because I can start, putting in my roots and start getting a house, getting everything going out here. I've traveled to all the gyms. I've seen what it has to offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like now I can spend more time with family and then go out there when I have fights coming up. I can train out here still, so it's like I stay in shape. So there's no reason to move my family all over the place anymore right now. So.
Were you born in Iowa or no?
No, I grew up here from like 19 up, I was here, but I grew up in Galesburg, Illinois, yeah, so.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was thinking, because I saw on SureDog it was Illinois, but I wasn't. I mean, sometimes maybe SureDog has wrong info, so that's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah, it's a smaller town, man, but when I started MMA, they had just a really small gym, so I moved out here to go to Militant Fighting Systems. Spencer.
Were you in Iowa when, were you mainly fighting in Iowa before the Ultimate Fighter?
I believe I went to Texas. No, I went to Texas for a year and trained with Pete Spratt, and then I came back to Iowa, and I went to the Ultimate Fighter from Iowa. Yep.
Okay. And have you won any championships in any other organizations? Yeah, you did, because that was a champion. Of course you did, because that was champion. I totally forgot that for a second, because that was everyone was a champ, either was or had been a champ from another organization or something. That was wasn't it? It was called a champions something. It was really cool.
Champions, yeah.
Did you were on team Benavidez, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy what's happened since then with Henry Cejudo becoming double champ.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It is very crazy.
I hope he comes back. That would be.
I think he will once they give him the money he wants.
So I'm curious, did you have a preference did you want to be on either one of their teams? Were you happy Benavidez picked you, or did you kind of want to be on team?
Yeah, I wanted to be on Joe B's team. Yeah. He just brings good energy, man. He's just a really cool dude.
Have you met either of them beforehand? Before
the show? No, I didn't. Just before we got picked, we got to go. They coached us. They got to coach us. So I just had the vibes. Yeah. I felt the vibes were better with Joe B. He had Robert Follis with him. Eddie Baraka. There was a whole bunch of guys that I was like, man, this is cool. Danny Castile.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Danny Castillo. He fought in UFC, didn't he?
Yeah. Vet. Now he's the coach over there at Alpha Male. So.
Right, Alpha Male. Yeah. Have you fought any of the guys previously before TUF? Did you or train
any of the guys that were on the show? No.
Yeah, on the show.
Nope. I didn't get to fight none of them. There was talks of me and Danger fighting a few times, just because we were fighting on the same some of the same shows like LFA and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I didn't get the chance to fight any of those guys besides on the show.
Danger's with ATT, isn't he?
He used to be. Now he's. Okay. I want to say he's out in Houston now.
Right. Okay. In Dustin Poirier's still over there in ATT, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's got to fight this weekend. That'll be a good fight. Him and Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't want to keep you here too much longer. We've been on almost 40 minutes. But is there anything else you wanted to say or anything before we wrap up?
Man, we pretty much touched base on everything. That was a good convo, man. I kind of forgot that we were even doing an interview.
Yeah, I know. It's really just kind of flowed naturally. It was a lot of fun chatting with you, dude. I watched you on Ultimate Fighter fucking four years ago, and this is really cool. This is pretty awesome.
Doubt. It's pretty cool. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric, and good luck over at ARES. I hope you kick some ass and fucking build up a win streak, and
yes,
one of these days we'll see you back in UFC.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Of course, dude. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good one.
You too, bro.
See ya.
Bye.